Imagine yourself in a dark hall. All you have is your hands to guide you down this path. The sound of a violin playing intense music in your ear. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. The music is so loud that you can hardly bear it, and suddenly you reach a door, thinking that it's your savior. You open it, and all of a sudden, bright lights are assaulting your eyes, and there's someone with a maniacal laughter running after you. This can actually be a common scene in haunted attractions. Someone coming from nowhere for your demise. And in the moment, we're terrified. We run, we scratch, we even punch just to try to get away. Why do we put ourselves through such torture? The fact is, there are over 2,000 haunted attractions in the United States that charge admission, and 80% of them report having somewhere between 7,500 and 10,000 guests. And this is according to the Haunted House Association. This is a successful business for many haunts, but how are they successful? Simply put, they keep people wanting to come back to them. Now, it doesn't mean that people coming back means that they're successful. Most of them, they have to be scary in order to be successful. They use your imagination against you. They have different techniques, and there's actually a science behind their madness. All of this just to keep you coming back as their customer. What makes customers want to come back, though? Haunted attractions, they bring in business. Many people want to be scared, but one key factor in making these attractions successful is having those customers, such as repeat customers and new customers. Word of mouth is extremely important in this line of business. Now, people attend these things, but what of those who are chronic thrill seekers? What about those people that keep coming back and want to be scared? Haunts tend to actually have a gimmick that keeps you wanting to come back to their attractions for years to come. For example, they might change their design every year, or they might add a cool new effect or attraction to their haunt. Wouldn't it interest you to find some place that had already scared you the year before, and you found out, hey, there's something new. How are they going to scare me this year? These haunted attractions, they will let your mind do that work for them. Everyone has seen or at least heard of the movie Psycho before, right? In the shower scene where Janet Leigh is about to be murdered, all you see is her shadow. Her eyes getting large and scared, and then a knife stabbing at the curtain. And then the next scene cuts to what is presumably blood running down the drain. Was there any actual scene where it shows the killing? This is just one example of letting your mind and what it's able to create do the work for these haunts. And this helps them get the best scare out of you. Now, the haunts also know how to scare you, obviously. Not every haunted attraction does the homework to learn how to scare someone, but successful ones will. There are thousands of haunted attractions in the United States alone. Many fail, but some succeed and make enough money to support themselves in the off-season, which is considered from the end of October until September the following year. I don't feel like they would be able to do that without having some substantial knowledge. Did your employer get to the point where they are without knowing and understanding their line of business? Not all haunted attractions make tons of money. Some actually just stay afloat and are operating because those who run them love the business and love scaring people. But let's take a deeper look on scaring and why it brings customers back. So the first one is, how do they scare you? There's actually a book called The 5 Laws of Fear, and this is a book and presentation by the Halloween Theater. Altogether, they have over 40 years of experience and have taken their learnings to the public. Mostly people who want to learn about haunts and scaring read it for sure, though. The 5 laws include removing the comfort zone. For those of us who have braved a haunt before, we know that people like to be in our faces in these things. They like to be in our personal space, which is considered about 18 inches in front of you, a hula hoop distance. And this is all just to get our senses going and to scare you later on. The next law is preying upon multiple senses. By clogging our flight or fight response, we have no time to think about what we should do and we simply respond. Usually by a quick scream and ducking out of the way. There have even been people to respond by throwing a punch or two. The flight or fight response is something that we learn in psychology, that when we look at a situation, we assess it and say, do we run from it or do we stay and try to fight it? The next law is escalating the tension. Imagine a Jack in the Box. Dun, 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 dun. We all know the music and we all know what comes at the end of it. It is used by the haunt itself in the design. It's actually building up a chance to scare someone. What it's doing is using the music time to build up the suspense, and the actual scare would be when the weasel comes out or the clown pops out. Now, This is actually a good tactic. Several of them can be used, but this one includes foreshadowing with the music, misdirection, deception, and then they resolve it. So what they're going to do is they're going to foreshadow by you hearing something or seeing something that you saw before and say, hey, I got scared before. And then they're going to use that and try to distract you and then come out with that scare to resolve it. Because if we don't resolve the scare, you're not going to actually get scared, right? The last two laws are distinguishing between gory and scary. Blood and guts will only get you so far and only scares a select few people. And then the last one is using synergy, which is the principle of combining actors and effects towards each and every scare. The mind can process a single threat quickly, but struggles when multiple threats are presented at once. This is a quote from the Halloween Theater, and what it's telling us is, again, that flight or fight system. By using all the things they mentioned before to scare someone, you're not going to be able to think of how you should respond, and you just simply react. Now, they have different methods as well. As if using the 5 laws wasn't good enough, they actually can place different methods into scaring in this mixture as well. The sneaky approach and abrupt announcement of presence. I love this technique. Everyone loves this technique pretty much. It's quick, it's efficient, and it's a simple act of you're walking home and it's dark and you don't know if anyone's there, and all of a sudden your friend comes out of the corner. Your reaction is usually priceless. Deception is another possibility. For those of us who have been in a haunt and braved that, we only see about what's in front of us. We actually only see 60 to 90% of what's in front of us. The peripheral vision over here, we're not looking at, we're not focusing on, and that's how haunts can use that area against you. They'll place something that'll pop out, or they'll place an actor there to come out and scare you. They keep it from you hidden, and they usually get a decent scare out of it. Another form of scaring is illusions of doom. If they can, they will use anything that could bring this line of thought to your mind, such as death, fear of heights, or is there a big man behind me chasing me with a chainsaw? It all is used to bring your guard down and their scare up and get to you. All haunted attractions, whether they charge admission or not, have similar tactics to scare, even if they don't know it yet. Haunted attractions have to be successful in order to have continual business, and the thing that people look for when attending is how scary it is. Sneaky approach and abrupt announcement of presence, illusions of dooms, and deceptions are common, even when you're just scaring your friends. Something as simple as a stranger in your personal zone is enough to make you uneasy. Now imagine that person having half their face ripped off and they're in their zone. Now going back to that original question, what makes haunted attractions so appealing? Simply put, it's your want to be entertained and how it will affect you. Despite when we're in the situation and we're terrified and running away, we know somewhere in the back of our mind that we're safe because it's called entertainment. And the best thing about it is it goes to our needs. Men get the opportunity to be protectors, and ladies get the chance to be protected. Think of taking your date to a scary movie. Now, the next time you find yourself in a haunt or a scary movie, remember their tactics, remember how they scare you, and they might not get the best out of you. Or will they?